Sudden screams chill your blood. Not the dog! Oh no! Oh my god! And we're back with Mothmen 1966. I think we're with Holt back again. I think it's chapter 3 or chapter 4. And we've met all the 3 characters that I think the game centers around. We played, I think the first third of this game, so we will have 2 more episodes, including this one. And yeah, I can't wait. So we have 2 people on a date, but their relationship is rocky. But, so it's Lee and Victoria. I think I'm bad with names, sorry. And Victoria is pregnant, and Lee is an asshole. Kind of, he has anger issues, at least, you know. And Holt has a whole lot of trauma and a big mystery. So, yeah. Let's see what we're going to find out this episode. You've known Lou Hill for a few months now. Isn't his name Lee? The first time you talked to him was at the Moose. Lou was looking for information about some unusual lights in the sky. Oh no, Lou was the... Yes, Victoria met a weird stranger who's into the Mothmen, you know, and he asked her about what she saw, because they actually looked at a moth man. How do you know it's man? So far, it could be also, you know, other genders. Or no genders at all. But yeah, well, let's go with it. It's called the Mothman theory, so let's go with it. No, the game is not called the Mothman. Jesus Christ, Hula, what's going on? So yeah, let's see. So Lou was the scientist, the writer that Victoria met, and Lee is the problematic boyfriend, I think. Lou was looking for information about some unusual lights in the sky. Nobody would talk to him. Before going to the restroom, you went over to his table and suggested he buys people a drink first. When you got back, Lou was already talking to Rick and Stella, their tongues sufficiently loosened. Lou raised his glass in your direction and smiled. Although it wasn't you who gave him the nickname, you still feel a little guilty. Since that night, most locals refer to him as Lou Refill Hill. What do you recall about the encounter with these men in black? You smile. What does he mean? How does he know? It had only been a week. You think about how to answer. You know Lou, he loves asking questions. So you're going to tell him one thing and one thing only. No follow-up questions. Oop. Tell him about the dream about your grandma? No, that's just weird, but I think it's not... Are they Mothmen? Do moths like paper? I mean, not all moths, I know, you know. I mean, okay, that sounded like I know moths personally, and all my moth friends don't eat paper, but you know what I mean. Grandma's legs. Oh, so it's either about the dream or grandma's legs. Let's go with the legs. The man in black seemed interested in my grandma's legs. Lou raised his eyebrows. One of them told me that these spots on Elsie's legs predated her birth, and now that I think about it, I think he knew my name too. It's not difficult considering the big sign outside, right? Maybe. You changed the subject. You know if you give him a chance, he'll keep asking questions all night. Red or black? What? The card. Red. You turn over the card. Ooh, it's red. Good. It's the solitair my grandma taught me. No one could ever win it. Lou suddenly seems interested. And how do you play it? Yes, explain it. Rules are simple, but winning? There's a reason why it's called the impossible solitaire. Let me show you. I love playing solitaire, but yeah, it's... Oof. It's difficult as it is if you play the hard route, you know, because I think a lot of people play that you, once all the cards on the bottom, you know, that's the ones you're choosing from, and once they're all done, you know, from one stack, from the closed stack to the open stack, then they just turn it around and start over with that stack of cards. But the hard way is you only have 3 tries to, you know, go around, and then you can't, it stops. That's the PC version I know from my childhood. The objective is to move every card from the board to the discard pile. You can move any card whose rank is 1 higher or 1 lower than the topmost card in the discard pile. Okay, so in this case it would be the 4 and the 6s. Right? So let's say there's a 5 in the discard pile. You can either place a 4 or a 6 on top of it. And remember that if there's a K in the discard pile, you can place an A. A king, and then I can place an... Okay. A comes after K, and the opposite is also true. Okay. So, 28 cards to move. Seems easy enough, right? Oh. Select a card. Oh. Oh, and now it's play it for once. I know that the developer said it's super hard and they didn't even get to win this, so I'm not playing to win. I just wanna, you know, I play until we're stuck. And maybe I edit it out. A card can be moved onto the discard pile only if it ranks one higher or one lower than its topmost card. So what, wait, so that's not a 3? What kind of number? Oh, it's a boy. It's a junge. How do you call him? How do you call... It's not the Joker, you know. So this is a dame. So in Germany we have like the king, and then the dame. We don't have the queen. And then we have the boy. The boobe. It's basically like a boyish man. And then we have the Joker. So, Okay, so, and now this one. And then we can choose the 4. Blah, blah. And then when you're stuck, you can turn over a card from the stock to the discard pile. But to turn it over, you need to make a bet first. Black or red? Which one's gonna be? Ugh. Lose the bet and you lose the game. Oh, man. Yeah. Whew. The son of a bitch is almost unwinnable. Yeah, that is one heck of an added rule. Bet black. Ah, oh, for fuck's sake. Leave the game. But this is so cool. Solitair's bad run. Achievement unlocked. You hear barking from the back of the station. It's the dog, Trent. When they brought him in, they told me his name was Chase. Fuck it, it's Trent for me. You know Trent, right? From the Moose? I'm so out of the loop. Tall, prominent belly and a scar parallel to the growth of his beard. You laugh heartily. Lou Hill might be a bit of a pain in the ass, but no one could deny that he was good with descriptions. You think about the... Well, he's a writer. He should be good with descriptions. You think about the book he's given you. He signed it and everything. Where did you leave it? I call him Trent because he barks like Trent on open mic Tuesdays. Oh yeah, I think the Moose is the bar, the local bar, so I don't know it because I don't live where these people live. Come on, let's go to the garage and see the machine gun. I like in the writing that you get to know a little bit of the town, like the small town feeling. Because here's the thing, I think that's very important when you tell these suburban or small town mystery stories. If you want to do it right, then you have to kind of give people an introduction into the whole town, not just 3 major characters. Which is why I hate the movie Dead Silence, because it doesn't do that. It is set up like a small town mystery horror movie, but then you get to know like 2 characters and that's it. But, you know, in a typical, for example, Stephen King scenario, and in this story as well, or even, you know, in X-Files, very often you get to know like a kind of a group of characters to get a feel for the town, you know. Twin Peaks as well, very good example, although I never really watched it, as I said in the last episode. And see the machine gun. Yes, Holt. Let's see your weird machine gun. Maybe we'll find out whether it's just a hobby or you're kind of a weirdo. Oh, we're now back to someone else? Yes, Victoria. I remembered her name correctly. I'm so proud. So is this his idea of a special date? Looking at shooting stars while holding your hand? I mean, that is kind of nice. If Lee wasn't Lee, you know, and this was like a nicer person, I would be totally into this. But I am also someone, I like a date where you have time for yourself, where you can talk, you know. I think cinema is a horrible first date because you sit next to each other and you have to be quiet. Because you also don't know if the person next to you is someone who would appreciate you whispering throughout the movie, you know, your theories. Because I would only do that if someone likes that, and otherwise I would keep my mouth shut. So it's like you have to sit there, keep your mouth shut the entire time, and then that's that. And nowadays, a movie takes like 3 hours, you know, so this is actually a nice date. Telling you his plans for the end of the semester? Yeah. Can't stop thinking about the raw strength of the hug from a minute ago. Yeah, he was jealous, I think, from, you know, of Lou. How he scared the coyotes away by yelling and throwing stones at them. You think about your friend May, all those dark fantasies she told you about. Oh, Victoria. But holding hands like this, smiling and talking, looking into each other's eyes, feels like giving up, doesn't it? So she wants, problematically. Victoria, that's... I mean, you know, you do you, but... You know you're to blame too. Aren't you playing the perfect girlfriend role? Don't you make eyes at him? Don't you say love whenever you call him? So is this it, Victoria? Is this what you want for the rest of your life? Why don't you make up your mind just for once? They're so young. I mean, at university... Not that I would have had the chance, you know, but I don't think I would have been comfortable picking someone for the rest of my life. You know, making those. But that's a personality thing. But obviously she's also not the kind of person, you know. There's people who are like, my high school sweetheart, we are in love, we will marry, we will get kids, you know, the whole shebang, this is it. This is my lane and I know it, I'll be happy with it, you know. It doesn't always work out, but, you know, you can admire people who are so sure about what they want from life so early on. But I'm still like, I don't know, I just go with it, you know. So I get her, I get it. And she's pregnant, so she has to think about this right now. She can't be like, you know, I'm just in the moment right now, because she has to think about, you know, whether she wants maybe an abortion or not. You think of May again, of those women she'd claimed to know who could solve your situation using a coat hanger. Don't do it. Is it 1960s? It's 1966, right? So that is, yeah. You couldn't get a proper abortion. You could only get those back alley abortions. But don't use a coat hanger. I think even back then in the 60s, you had those, you know, the whisper networks where you would get a better procedure done. I mean, oh, no. Also, this is super topical. Unfortunately, you know. I said it like it's a good thing, it's not. You wouldn't be the first or the last. Well, yeah, but a lot of women die of, you know, those things. I mean, a lot of women die after giving birth as well, and even more do so when, you know, it's illegal abortions. The dog barks like a maniac and you appreciate the distraction. A mixture of guilt, anguish, and apathy takes over you. And now what? Why is he looking at you like that? Why doesn't he say anything? Yeah, that's kind of... That would make me uncomfortable. I'm not really the staring at each other longingly without saying a word type. But I think you know that because... Has he asked you a question? Ask him to repeat the question. I said if you're excited about the Doors. They're going to see the Doors? Yes. Of course you are excited. The Doors, Victoria. Yes. But then again, were they already that popular in the 1960s? Freddie told me they're about to release their first album and it seems they'll be playing in New York. So they were not. So then we're really fans, I guess. How did you know a band before they released their first album? You would have to see... I can't even... Was that a big thing? That was really a very small town thing then, you know, to see a band before they even released their first album. Because then, I think before that, they wouldn't really necessarily tour a lot. Are we going to see them live again then? Well? Oh. Oh, this is cool. Even though you try, you gradually stop listening to him. Hesitancy returns, and all those questions, and the fucking dog won't stop barking. Yeah, poor Trent. What had been a distraction is now driving him crazy. What the hell is wrong with him? Ooh, shooting fucking stars. Why don't you make a wish, Victoria? How about going home, covering your head with a pillow and sleeping for 18 hours straight? You feel like crying and try to calm down. I think Lee and Victoria are not a good fit. Not only because I think Lee has anger issues, and is really resentful towards Victoria, but she also is. So it feels like they both don't really like each other, but they're together because they think it makes sense. You know what I mean? Ooh, those eyes. That creature you thought you saw in the treetops with Lou's binoculars. Had it been real? Not just your imagination? Vic! You know what? I'm tired of it already. Exhausted. I've been trying and trying for more than 10 minutes. That's not a long time. That is not a long time, Lee. Can you tell me what's wrong with you? You stay silent. You need to think. But Lee's right. It's not fair to either of you. There's so much noise, it's impossible for you to concentrate. You know they're all excuses, though. Winged monsters don't exist. It's just your brain desperately trying not to focus on what's important. The sudden screams chill your blood. Not the dog! Oh no! Oh my god! I could make a 6 hours long supercut of me getting really frustrated at this trope. Can you not go for Alien? Go for Alien. Don't be all those other horror movies that no one remembers anymore. Go for Alien, the classic, one of the best horror movies ever, where the cat survives. And silence takes over everything. But it's a gorgeous illustration. You know, I love the visual. Back to Holt. I like Holt. I gotta be honest, I like him. Have you met Lee, tall guy with a blonde girl? He makes xerographic copies of some dogs I've used to assemble this beauty. Where did he get the dogs from? You bite your lower lip. Do all writers ask so many questions? I don't think so. I think a lot of writers are like really shy, don't want to talk, just want to go back and wallow. Lee works at the university in the history department. Lou adjusts his glasses. You don't know why, but that gesture irritates you. Everyone's so irritated by everyone, right? The Winans doesn't work like a normal machine gun. Normal machine guns use gunpowder to fire projectiles. Do you know what the Winans uses? You're probably going to tell me, you know, so. Centrifugal force. Interesting. Yeah. Lou repeats the gesture with the glasses. Interesting? the one that annoyed Holt. Today, Lee, I thought it was... I misread that. I thought he repeats the word interesting with his glasses. It was like, is that when you go like up and down? Well... Today, Lee brought me some ketchum grenades. Do you know about ketchum grenades? You will tell me. Don't. Lou shakes his head. And me adjusts his glasses for the third time in less than 5 minutes. You take a deep breath. Tell him. Why would I? Don't be annoyed. Although you can't stand Lou refill Hill's tick, you enjoy talking about your collection of Civil War weapons. Ketchums are similar to footballs in shape. They have to land on their nose to explode. They were highly inefficient in Port Hudson, for example. The Confederates used sheets to catch them without exploding, and then threw them back at Union soldiers. War. I mean, you know. Lou's about to say something when you hear a scream that makes your blood run cold. Also a screaming dog. That's horrible. I don't want to think about that. You grab the shotgun without thinking twice. It's coming from the back. Come on! You don't have a good feeling about it. Something's not right. Or did we hear Victoria? Trent, no! Oh. Although it feels like a dream, somehow you know the creature is real. I mean, obviously. Your dog's suffering is real. And there'll be no waking up from this. Run to Trent? But if we shoot the creature, maybe she'll drop Trent. You aim your gun. Shit. But you don't have a clean shot. No, run to Trent then. You hear the muffled moans of your dog, and the fury blinds you. You drop the shotgun and grab onto the chain. Son of a bitch is going to strangle Trent! Ask the rest to help you. Come on, hurry! But before they arrive, you feel the pull. No! No! I don't want to know! And the floor disappears. Could I have helped him? Could I have saved him? Hold on to the chain. Although you managed to hold on for a few minutes, you finally let go and fall into the thick of the forest. 3 branches penetrate your body and you die before reaching the ground. Retry. I thought I could retry in a way to... Holt! You know you should hit the floor soon. Don't move. Ugh. Listen to Vic, Holt. Her sister's a nurse. No bones seem to be broken. My dog. Victoria and Lee help you to your feet. Lou doesn't take his eyes off the winged creature for a single second. Could I have helped Trent by doing the chain thing on my own? He let go! He just let go! What? 1 second. I know where your dog is, Holt. Wait a minute, got something in the car. Let's go. A gift from Freddy. Cool, right? Are you holding a gun, Lee? You try to get up, but you feel dizzy and stumble. Victoria gives Lee a disapproving look and helps you keep your balance. Follow me. Thanks. You would have liked to smile at her. After all, Victoria just wants to help. But I could do it myself. Yeah. That's old. That's a lot of old man, right? You get your rifle and walk with the rest into the blackness of the forest. We should go in that direction. No. I think we should go that way. Lee. Now what? The place where Trent fell. I've calculated it by projecting the point where the creature dropped it on this map. You've calculated? You've calculated, you say? Why is he so angry? What? Weren't you a writer? Lee, people contain multitudes. You're a student of history, and you also have anger issues. See? That's, it's possible. Lou, don't mind him. Do what you want. Constantly checking the map, Lou leads the group on. You should be close. There! Your heart is pounding. Please. Compress his chest, use both hands, just like that. How curious. Did you know that the cardiopulmonary resuscitation procedure was discovered by Dr. Knickerbocker while he was trying to save a dog? As he speaks, Lou carefully examines the tops of the trees. It was at Johns Hopkins University. Victoria rests her hand on yours and moves her head from side to side. You stop pressing and a few tears roll down your cheek. The interesting thing is what happened to the dog afterwards. Tell him to shut up. Lou, shut up. Shut up or I'll shoot you right in the face! I think that would be me as well. Like, I'm generally a nice person, but I think in a situation like this, no, you shut up. Why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you try to blow the creature's brains out? I wanted to! Oh, but I couldn't. The game wouldn't let me. Deep down, you know that's just the guild talking. And that maybe there was nothing you could have done differently to save him. What's that maybe? What's that maybe, developer? Could I have done something? Lee? Have you seen Lee? You stand up and look around. Lee's gone. Ugh, what a fool. What a fool! Was he grumpy? Is he now? Did he go back because he was, like, annoyed? Ugh. Lee. You walk faster to keep your thoughts at bay. What the hell is wrong with her? Why does she even listen to him? Ryder, says the fucker. What a loser. You walk through the woods confident that you will be the one to find Holt's dog. Oh my god, he went in a different direction? Like a... What then, Vic? What weird little face will you make? Ooh. Ooh. Hello? You feel like someone is watching you. You're walking through a dense forest area where the darkness is almost total. You walk even faster than before. Finally, you reach a clearing and look at the sky. The meteor shower is gaining intensity. Your heart is in anguish and you find it hard to breathe. Are you watching the Leonids, Victoria? Are you? God damn it, Lee. You hold your head in your hands. Cry! Cry, Lee! The last time you cried like this, you were 16. Macho cry. Achievement unlocked. But I mean, you know, I think that's the thing he would do. An angry, sad cry mixture. You come home early and found him hitting your mother. He also did that? Oh my god, his father really was the worst. But that explains the anger, because I thought, you know, the father just cheating, I mean, that's shitty, you know. But the anger issues, that's usually also due to anger issues at home, you know. You tried to separate them and your father took it out on your ribs. Jesus. His blows were like a rain of sledgehammers and his breath reeked of alcohol. Goddamn. He pushed you against the wall and you ended up on the floor. Your mom was clutching her head when your dad took a deep breath and kicked you in the stomach. I won't hit you in the face because it's the only thing you got going for you. Damn. And one day you won't have it anymore. You carry your father's photo in your wallet, not to remember how good he looked? Hell no. Whenever the pain was too much, you'd scratch his entire face until his features blended with the cuts in the paper. What the... I seem to hear something. Kind of rumor. You think of the noise hands make when they shake the dust of an old volume. A river? You try to think about the map you've got in the car. You can't remember seeing a river here. Further west, sure, but here? As you get closer, you hear it more clearly. You feel a kind of calm. Not peace, but numbness. Oh, it's so gorgeous. The visuals in this are absolutely, stunning. Stunning. Suddenly, the whitest light you've ever seen floods the ground. Even when there's no river nearby, the sound is deafening. What? You feel the light pulse with painful intensity, as if millions and millions of red ants were sinking their little jaws in your skin. Ew! Pain turns into light. You want to scream, but you have no mouth! Reference, and I know it! Nor larynx or lungs. Ooh! And the white that precedes everything consumes you. You don't know how long it takes. You feel the urgency of what is yet to be. And white makes you desperate. Oh, it's a goat. Hi! Popular, and since the movie The Witch, known for being very close to the devil. But even before, if you read, you know, folk horror and whatnot, then you know that the goat could be the devil. Ooh, that's sexy. Sorry. You feel the white light leaving your body. It's not sexy for me, but that looked like a very ripped goat, you know. So that's what I... And you hear your own voice screaming at the top of your lungs. Ooh, you drop to the floor and cover your head with both hands. You're filled with a sense of completeness that you cannot explain. So Lee changed now? Is something wrong with him now? We all need a little darkness. Ooh, it sounds like something came over him. Lee! Where's that idiot? Calm down, Victoria. Lee knows how to take care of himself. Holt's right. Lee's going to show up eventually. Did you know that he chased away a pack of coyotes with screams, some stones, and a blow on the hood of this car? Lou smiles. You wonder if it's authentic or a calculated gesture to show some empathy. Holt? What? What's your business with Lee? Holt looks at you for a few seconds before answering. You think of one of the computers at the campus, the IBM 7040. You know what it's called because you once wrote a poem with that title. Holt is like that computer. From the outside, it's impossible to tell what's evaluating before giving you an answer. Ooh. You can ask him directly when we find him. You wonder if you could have done something differently. A new input. That's the term they usually use in the computer department. A word you'd struggle to rhyme when you wrote that poem. That's kind of cute. But also sad. You hear twigs snapping. Who's there? Grandma? What? She has legs. The sight of Holt's grandmother holding an old rifle mesmerizes you. Yeah, I mean, wow. But Victoria doesn't know that she doesn't have legs. But still, that's old lady in a forest with a big gun. That's kind of, you know, not something you want to see. And that's not because she's an old lady. You know, any person in the dark forest with a gun, I wouldn't want to see necessarily. The whole thing looks like an image from some Wyeth painting. A wet dream for almost any of your classmates. An image that not only defies gender stereotypes, but also demolishes social constructs like that of grandma in classic stories. I don't know. I know a lot of stories, but grandma's kind of super scary, you know? And, you know, even in, like, cultures, grandmas are usually, the matriarchs of any given, you know, where, like, cultures where family sticks together a lot, you know, where basically couples don't move away. The grandmothers are usually the ones that say what's what. So, you know, it's the social construct is mostly, you know, Westerners' cultures. Sorry. No. Sorry for, you know, I actually do have my Tamagotchi here, so, and it needed, anyways. Oh my god, Grandma. Grandma's lived, you know, she's experienced some stuff. The expression on Holt's grandmother's face changes, her features soften. My legs! Grandma! Holt picks up his grandma and helps her sit against a tree trunk. He looks at his dog's corpse and beckons you to come closer. I need to bury Trent before carrying on. You nod your head. How do you feel, ma'am? Confused. Here, Victoria. You didn't hear him approach. You grab the handkerchief without thinking twice. A strange feeling runs through your body. Shouldn't you have at least considered some other option? What? Am I not reading? I mean, I've been born in the 80s, so I don't know weird social constructs between women and men. Clean up your legs. She rubbed the handkerchief against her calves and gradually removed the mud stains. Scrub harder. I was probably your age when I stopped feeling my legs. Holt's grandmother sighs and closes her eyes. Oh, so she has legs but couldn't feel them. Yeah, I remembered wrongly. Have you ever seen so many moles together? I don't think I would really notice a lot in a situation like this. Like, a lot of shit is going on. Lou speaks almost in whispers. You wonder why. Let's go. Lou picks up the old rifle and examines it briefly. Holt looks at you with an expression you can't quite make out. Are you okay? No, you're not okay. But what are you gonna tell him? That you're pregnant? That your boyfriend is missing? That winged creatures out of old pulp magazines are apparently more than just fiction? You walk for a while in silence. What was... Try to think of something else, Victoria. A few minutes ago, you all started hearing the screams, noticing sudden movements in the treetops. We're almost there. You find it hard to believe what you're seeing. Oh, yeah! I totally did not... Why are all these creatures flying over the gas station? Interesting. Holt punches Lou in the shoulder. What? Interesting? Did you find it interesting what they did to Trent? We're not in one of your cheap books, Lou. Sudden silence befalls the group. Suggest a plan. Listen. No, you just cover me. Oh man, Holt, I had such a good plan. You close your fist tightly, trying to exercise the impotence you feel. Yeah. Was it that hard for him to hear what you had to say? You shake your head from side to side. What's even the plan? Running with his grandma in his arms? Why does he have to be the hero? Holt! The shriek chills your blood. Fuck! Lou looks at you as if waiting for something. How many bullets in your rifle? 3. Hope it's enough. Holt and Elsie are halfway to the gas station. 2 winged creatures on the street lamps. The light, Victoria. These creatures seek the light. Tell Lou to take aim. So we have 3 lamps. So aim for the lamp on the left. Shoot. 3, 2, 1. Blam! Oh shit. Too far away. Ugh, you have 2 bullets left. Pfft. Oh. No, where are we? Oh, they... Oh, shit. Okay, on the right, in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Blap. You have 1 bullet left. Tell Lou to take aim. Close the slam on the right. Shoot. 3, 2, 1. Blare. Yeah, I messed it up. The winged creature flies to the farthest pole. Run to LC1. Yeah, I know. I love that I absolutely am the worst at these puzzles. Like, I always have to try every conceivable solution until I finally get it. Oh, the two creatures fight, take flight, and get lost in the night. I think that was all the solutions I could ever have. So finally, all clear. Help me with Holt and Elsie, and let's get inside fast. Ah, ooh, this reminds me of The Mist. You know, the Stephen King short story and really good movie adaptation, except the ending. Is someone going to make a wish? You laugh under your breath. You look at Holt and he looks away. You wonder if he's pissed because you saved him. No, he's pissed! Dog is dead! Victoria! Get with it. You still can't believe everything that happened tonight. Yeah, it's a lot. You know that as soon as you stop to think, you touch your belly and fight back the tears. Lou looks at his watch. The Leonids are reaching the point of highest intensity. Oh, look at them. Gorgeous. The screeching is deafening. Freaking creatures. I think I saw one in a dream. Lou is about to add something, but suddenly falls silent. Ooh, you approach the window and rest your hand on the glass. You can't stop looking at their dance. Ooh, let's get the party started. Before meeting Lee, you had some experiences in college. Experiences by which you sought to open the doors of your perception. Drugs? Lee doesn't know, and you don't know how he would react if he found out. But the strange dance of these creatures in the sky beats anything you experience while tripping. Holt. They called him the Devourer of the Hills. What he did lacked a ritual component. It had nothing to do with the taxidermy business, even less with mummification. His shrunken animal heads were art sold as collector's pieces. One afternoon, Liam, his only nephew, stole a bear head. The head had been emptied of viscera and was floating in a solution his uncle used in the early stages of the miniaturization process. Liam lifted the head out of the bucket, wiped it dry, and put it on like a helmet. He stripped naked, left the house, and ran into the village. Liam entered the church in the middle of mass, screaming at the top of his lungs, waving his arms up and down as if he were clawing. One of the congregation members pulled out a gun and shot him. What? I mean, yes, it is odd, to say the least. But if he stripped naked, you obviously saw that it was a person. You remember the sheer terror you felt when you saw the bear man running towards the altar. This is worse. Oh my god. This is hilarious. Also, yes, this is different creatures. That's a hog, that's a cat. So do they all have like... Oh my god, are there vampires who just wear masks? No, that would be wild. Huh? Worse? Worse than what? Tell him about Liam. You tell him the story of Liam and his uncle, the Devourer of the Hills. Somehow you feel safe telling them stories from the past. As for what's on the other side of the window, this fear can't be any more present. Got some clickings from the case. Liam's story was an unfortunate event. It was horrible! It explains what happened to him, but it also provided an all too easy explanation for other sightings in the area. The dogman, the owl woman, many people told me stories about similar creatures in the moose. Lou adjusts his glasses. Lou Refill Hill. I think I don't know what they call me in town. It may be true that some people make up stuff to get a beer, but imaginations have limits. And in the long run, we tend to rely on real experience when telling a story. Yeah. Somewhat. To a degree. Mothman. Is somehow related to the Leonids and the gathering of all these creatures. Maybe he's right, and all the creatures outside started to appear after the aerial dance of these Mothman. Oh, so they kind of, like bees. Bees have dances to communicate with each other. That's how they tell each other where they found cool stuff, you know. Check on Grandma. Grandma? Better? What are those shrieks, love? It's painful for you to see how confused she is. 1 second. You turn on the radio. Static. Move to the left. No matter which way you turn the dial, all you hear is static. Aw. Aw. You never sung at the Moose. Not even on those nights when everyone egged you on and the booze in your system had drowned your inhibitions. Almost without realizing it, you start singing the lullaby Elsie used to sing to make you sleep. Although more than 40 years have passed, the words come to your mind one after the other. You close your eyes and caress her hair, singing all the time. Aww. As soon as you feel the rhythmic breathing of your grandmother, you get up. What was that? No! No! Lee? Victoria tries to hug Lee while he babbles something you don't understand. At no time does he look up. Oh, maybe it's his eyes! Where the hell have you been? Victoria! I thought... But he's here. Give him some space. Thank you. No, they look okay. Lee takes a few seconds to start speaking. I think I got lost in the forest. Babe! 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 Take it easy. Sorry, that word, I don't know. Don't call... It's weird. I don't like it. It's not even that I don't like it. It's just weird. Whenever I hear it, I just have to repeat the word in my head. And no. It's irritating. Victoria grabs his arm and Lee tries to smile. I thought I heard the sound of a river and I felt someone looking at me. After walking for a while, the noise was deafening. But there was no river. Lee starts to cry. Victoria tries to calm him down. As soon as he regains his composure, Lee keeps talking. And then came the white... I don't know how to explain it. It was as if I could see everything and nothing at the same time. And the goat looked up to the sky to watch the shooting stars. It stood on 2 legs. Like this, you know. Just like us. Are these the animals of the forest? And they were egged on by the Mothman who, like, danced? And that created the white light? What? Oh, I love it. What the hell is going on? I think the time has come. Let me tell you a few things. Lou clears his throat and begins to speak. Although you can't stand his tics or his false dramatics, you want to know what's going on. The Leonids occur every 33 years. Some are intense like those of 1833 or the ones in 1866. Others are weak, 1899 for example. And those are the ones we have records of. Oh, Jesus Christ. Words don't come easy to me. You notice that Victoria grabs Lee's hand. Lou walks over to the window and points to the sky. This year they're intense again. 1866, 1966. Why a 100-year difference and not 99? That 1-year discrepancy bothers me too, and I think it has to do with the problems of our calendar, and the periodic adjustments that we are forced to make. Tell me, have you ever seen a medieval manuscript? No one answers. Yeah, that's kind of a weird question, Lou. Probably not. Just as you're about to open your mouth, Lou continues. They're usually adorned with warrior rabbits standing on two legs. Do you think these rabbits came from the imagination of medieval scribes alone? I love it! I love it. Those rabbits existed, and they were annihilated by man. This is amazing. Each meteor shower spawns new bipeds. And it was in one of these storms that mankind arose. Oh my god! Who were we before? What makes us different from all of them is that we survived. By destroying any other biped that came along. Or by reducing them to the realm of gossip or fiction. Outside, the creatures begin to fight. Why? What motivates them? And what about Lou? Should you believe everything he says? No! That is... No! No! I would go... Like, if this were me in that situation, I'd be like, it's aliens. It is mutations. It is some, like, chemical attack or something in the water or whatnot. I would not... No. I would listen to Lou and it'd be like, yeah. Sure, Lou. Mm-hmm. After all, Lou is a rider. Your grandma's cough sounds like the noise of a tractor's engine refusing to start. Grandma? You have to kill them all! The voice with which she speaks seems to come from much further back than her throat. We had a secret weapon, and we would use it to finish off the upright beasts. But they decided to test it in the war. Elsie? What are you talking about? I wanted to take the Widens from the battlefield, and they... Your grandma caresses her legs. I just want to finish the mission. Victoria and Lee look at each other. Lou walks up to you and tells you almost in a whisper. I bet the moles on your grandma's legs correspond exactly to her grandpa's wounds. Lou speaks softly, but his words resonate loudly in your head. The moles on her grandmother's legs? Her grandfather's legs riddled by bullets in the Civil War? Could it be that Elsie's grandfather was talking to you through your grandmother's body? Remember, this is a pulp story. The developer, you know, it's in the text of the game on Steam. And you should keep that in mind when you're rolling your eyes. Because in a pulp story, this needs to happen. All of this needs to happen. That is why I'm so excited. You know, pulp is there to expand the limits. Pulp is it's a little bit like the drag of horror, you know, where you kind of, you go to extremes, you play with tropes and exaggerations, you create certain illusions, but you also, you know, go further than you would in another setting. So this is absolutely gorgeous. The Winans? The Winans! A project that has obsessed you for a long time, and now you think you know why. You decide not to think too much about Elsie, her grandfather, the moles, the man in black. You're terrified that behind all your decisions, something more than your own free will was at work. Come on. The Winans! Quick, let's get her out! No, it's still not working. What do you mean it's not working? It has some kind of safety mechanism, and I still haven't been able to assemble it successfully. Here, see? The owls! Look at Lou with curiosity. On the blueprints, there! Those owls are the rubric of a secret society founded in the middle of the last century. It's not so secret if you know about it, is it? Lou doesn't answer you. Why the L? Some say it's because of the way the night moves on a chessboard. Others say it's because of Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland. Exactly. What? Let them keep talking. Lou closes his eyes, holds a hand to the bridge of his nose, and clears his throat. That's just like this. What's it? Can this guy be any more effective? The stick I found, they weighed 2 pounds. I sawed it up one day, in pieces 8 of equal weight. How much did each piece weigh? Everybody says 1/4 of a pound, which is wrong. A riddle? At this moment? Victoria strokes her chin and Lee nods his head slightly as if he's counting something. Do you think it's time for a riddle, Lou? Lou raises his hands and moves aside. You take a deep breath. It shouldn't be that hard to find the right configuration. Examine pieces. 1/4 of a pound. 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 1/ I don't even know the rows, to be quite honest. So let's just rotate first piece. Okay. To the right. Looks good, right? This looks like all of it fits. Test. The mechanism locks into place with a click. Wow! So the solution from the well, it's a puzzle, so I'm a bit better with puzzles than with every other logical thing, you know, in the world. But yeah, oh, that's so cool. Achievement unlocked. The rotation of the Earth really makes, well, and then, I don't know. Although outside the creature's shouts are getting louder, you can't help but feel a certain happiness. Yes! Accomplishment. Ah. Okay. The Winans is finally complete. Now everybody out! Oh my, no! Elsie stands next to the Winans holding a rifle. Lilu and Victoria stand back a little. You crack your knuckles and take a deep breath. At the helm of the Winans steam-powered machine gun, you feel something strange. You find it hard to put it into words. As if somehow the present has given way to the past. Rabbit man! They are weak creatures, cannon fodder in the war against the upright beasts. Aim to the left. Shoot. Okay, so I also have to take into account, and what's with Grandma? Beware of the dog man! They're behind the rabbit man! The dog men are more resistant than the rabbit man, and if you hurt them without killing them, they get mad! Yeah, but I need to aim to the center. Eat this bullet! Ooh, Grandma, thank you. I'm here to cover you, but don't get too confident. I can kill one upright beast, and then I need to reload. Okay. Oop. Look, the rest, they're hiding. Hey, where are you going? Okay. Die! Oh, shit. Shoot. Die! Okay, and now to the right, because they're close enough that I can bludge them both. Right? Plam. Yes. Oh my god! The two man and the woman. Gone! Deserters! Stay shooting bipeds. You take a deep breath and try to focus. And those creatures over there? Moose man! If you manage to wound them without killing them, they go crazy and run like a stampede. You can take advantage of them to generate a chain effect. Okay. So, aim to the right and shoot. Oh. Die! Do I feel like I will completely get annihilated. Because I need Granny to help me. Right? Right. Aim to the left and shoot. Die! Okay. To the right and shoot. Oh my god! Owl man! Resist like Dogman or Mooseman. But if you hurt them without killing them, they fly to the front, so be careful. Okay. Let's see if we can do it like this. Oh man. This is exciting. Oh shit. Die! Oh, the beasts attack while Elsie tries to reload the rifle and the machine gun cools down. Although you try to defend yourself, the jaws of a creature close around your neck and you bleed to death. You shake your head from one side to the other. You know that Lou was the first to leave, and the helplessness eats you up inside. Go look for them. But if we're going to fight here, we fight all together. Oh! Okay, so maybe I need the others. I don't want to keep running away. I should be out there and win my red badge of courage. Okay, just here. The red badge of courage is the title of that Civil War novel you read and reread over and over again. It tells the story of a Union soldier who flees the battlefield. From that first act of cowardice, the only thing the protagonist longs for is to receive a war wound. Ew, that's kind of gross. The definite proof that he had become a man. That's grosser. Your red badge of courage? You want a real red badge of courage, Lee? I'm pregnant. Bam! Your head spins. You find it difficult to organize your thoughts. You're going to be a father? Think of your own father, of all your suffering. I don't know if... I'm a coward, Vic. Lee, did you know that Stephen Crane wrote Red Badge of Courage without ever having set foot on a real battlefield? The first time you saw Lou wanted to twist his arm and bring him to his knees. Now you smile and put an arm on his shoulder. Thanks, Lou. Come on and fight! None of you move. Out, I said! My red badge of courage. Lee, don't! Pull? You pull. Elsie rotates her shoulders and stumbles. The rifle points at the ceiling. Push. You push. Elsie loses her balance. The rifle points at her body. Pull. You pull. Elsie loses her grips and you stumble. The rifle points at the ceiling. Elsie lunges at you with an unbelievable force and makes the rifle point at you. You die on the spot. What? You push. Elsie rotates her shoulders and the rifle points at your chest. Oh, no. Okay, what? So is pull? Pull? Oh no, okay. So, pull? Push. Push? Oh, Elsie, no! It wasn't Holt's grandmother, Lee. Your hands are shaking. You didn't fire the rifle. However, somehow you had been able to feel the different endings. You knew that in one of them Elsie would be shot, and yet you didn't stop. Ah! She's alive! They shot me! The resilience of the possessed? Oh, I wish I had that on Monday mornings, am I right? You don't know why you're surprised. After all, Holt's grandmother is possessed by her own grandfather, a soldier who fought in the Civil War and was mowed down by a machine gun. The same machine gun whose bursts you now hear outside the gas station, tearing apart creatures not mentioned in any biology textbooks. Damn, Holt! Eat bullets, you sons of bitches! Victoria. Now! You don't think about it too much. As Holt fires the Winans machine gun, you run as fast as you can. If you want to survive, you have to get away from there. The only word you can think of to describe what you see is pandemonium. And not only in the traditional sense, a place of noise and confusion, but in the original sense of the word. The place where all demons congregate. Lee tries to make himself heard over the gunfire and the shrieks of the creatures. To your left, Wig! You feel jaws closing not far from your neck. You try to run faster. Did you see that? That was like a time thing! No! Get down! Get down! Get down! Okay, you duck down and feel the claws of a creature graze the back of your neck. You keep running. Right! Right! The pig man tries to grab your arm. Man, this is me, you know, on the Christmas market, trying to evade all the masses. You're almost there. You get in the car and slam the door shut. You hear a knock and you jump in your seat. Let's go! Let's go! Lee speeds up, and the pandemonium is soon behind you. You think about Lee's previous car. What a clunker. What about Holt? And even if you don't know exactly how Lee could get a car like this, you're grateful he did. Wait, Lee? How? The Leonids, upright beasts, intrafamilial possession, experimental weapons, the Order of the Elves, Man in Black and Mothman. There they are, the topics of my next book. Lou! You touch your belly. With all that you suffered tonight, Lou's comment seems a bit inappropriate. You travel in silence for a few minutes. Are you alright, Lee? You look a little pale. Would I have been able to help Holt completely hold it together? Because maybe there was something to do? I don't know. Lee takes a few seconds to answer. I don't know. Lee scratches his head. Oh my god, I turned into Lee! I can see things before they happen, Vic. Lou leans forward. It's not that I see the future. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I can see several presents just before they happen. Come on, babe. Victoria. What are you saying, Lee? Have you felt it since the episode you told us with the white light? Lee's hands are tightly clasped on the steering wheel. It's not like I can control it. The first time I felt it was in the struggle with Elsie. And the second when we were running to the car. Lee looks you in the eyes, and suddenly you can feel all his pain. And some of the presents, the creatures, Vic. Lee's voice breaks. The creatures. And he begins to cry. Look at the road, Lee! Lay your hand on Lee's shoulder. You feel him gradually calming down with the contact. He rests his head on your hand and you stroke his cheek. No, Lee. Don't rest on it, like, look at the road! After a few minutes, you remove your hand and settle back in your seat. You look for Lou in the rearview mirror and see him jotting something in his notebook. Lou seems to always be writing in one way or another. Ha! Lou. That's such a Lou thing to do! You envy his tenacity, and you wonder if maybe that's what it takes to be a writer. No, it really doesn't. No, you know, no. Ooh. Lee steps on the brakes and opens the door on his side. Wait here! What happened? Can you see anything from there? You shake your head. Here he comes. A goat? A baby? It's hurt, Vic. Although neither of you say anything, you think you know what you have to do. Lee kisses you on the mouth and starts the car. In the backseat, Lou clears his throat. I don't want to be anticlimactic, but the demonization of the god Pan, Satan, as a male goat. You do know that there are records throughout history of bloody wars against goatmen, don't you? Ow! Did I get the RomCom ending? Oh my god. I'm quite sure there's numerous endings. Mothmen 66. Oh my god. Me and numbers in this episode. Nico and Martinez. Amazing. Amazing. Flavia, Laura. Gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. I love this. Okay, so this was really pulp. This was all the best sides of pulp that you can imagine. I know there's a few X-Files episodes that actually go into pulp territory because sometimes they just had fun, you know. Actually, I'm one of those weirdos who really don't like the overshadowing alien arc. Oh, 8 years later. Sorry, just, you know. Oh. Oh. You stay out of it. You stay out of that boy's life. Not just marvelous. Achievement unlocked. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the bottle episodes of the X-Files, and the wilder the better. I know the alien arc, I don't know. I thought it always took itself too seriously, and I think in a lot of bottle episodes they just had fun, and then just dove right into it. And so the great thing about pulp is, I think as soon as you know it's pulp, it always has this winking eye. There's always like a kind of humor involved, which is also one of the reasons why for example, I'm a big fan of Trucks, that Stephen King directed. Wasn't it the movie that he directed, with the also the gas station and then the killer trucks and whatnot. And I loved it because that's pulp. It is so out there. It is ridiculous. The cast, the amazing thing is in a good pulp story, in a good pulp movie, the actors are also in it, but they still give it their all. And that's amazing about Trucks, for example, that it is so cheesy, but it kind of works because they still have fun with it. They still go all in, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So this story as well, I loved the drama. I loved the different, there were hard things like the abusive childhood, the traumatic past, and everything, relationship issues. It all just accumulated into this weirdo story, and in a way that made it much more fun because it was kind of a Lifetime movie that turned into an X-Files episode. And it was fantastic, the absurdity of it. Lou's character is gorgeous because you always have those. In the not too good horror movies, you always have the explainy guy, and it's almost always a guy who's like, it's either a librarian, or it's the janitor in a school, or it's just some scientist, you just coincidentally, saw a TV interview with or heard her on the radio on the same day that shit started to happen, and then you contact them and it's like, he's like basically tell you the whole back catalog of the things, and it's always super ridiculous, and you're like, oh, this, it would have been so much better if he wouldn't be there, but it's part of the genre in a way. And so this is really, I loved it. I thought the writing was amazing. The story was, I loved, it was chaotic good. The puzzles I really, really enjoyed. Some of the puzzles, you had to replay to kind of get them, but I liked it. I had fun with it because even though I got stuck, it didn't take too long, and I think all of them were even solvable for doofuses like me, who take too long to figure it out, but it still wasn't too long to get frustrated. So I think the puzzles were just the right amount of challenging without being frustrating, because it is a fine line, And last but not least, no, it's not even last because I have other things. So the soundtrack was amazing, absolutely fantastic. The sound effects were amazing. I loved the dog growl is so cool. It's stuck in my head. It is amazing. I loved it. And yeah, last but not least, the visuals. Oh my god, the neon. Oh. Am I a fan? But also the whole entire, I'm a huge fan of pixel art, but also this had the visuals of pulp horror comics. And the really old ones, like back in the 90s, when I was a young gal, I used to get those really horrible horror comics in the supermarket. In Germany, you got your comics in the supermarket, not in a comic store. And they always were like, there was super thin magazines, basically comics, and you had like 2 or 3 stories, and all the women were always half clad, and you didn't see boobies, but you were very close to it, and they always lost just like their coats, so the blouses popped open and everything. And it was always like really dramatic, and the visuals here, they remind me of those comics, and not from the style, but more of the expressions, because the expressions were really overly dramatic, but in the good sense. And it was really a comic style, that I think was perfect for this story. So all in all, I am so much in love with this, and I know that the developers are already working on another game where it's about, I think, vampires. Kids and vampires. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I will put the link to the game in the liner notes. I'm quite sure there's more endings and more things you could have done. So you know, you can try this as well. I see that you can also play the solitaire if you want to. I will do that in my own time. But yeah, I had a blast. So yeah, I hope you had too, dear viewers. If you notice anything, if you want to discuss something, who was your favorite character? Lou, Holt, Lee, or Victoria? Personally, I think Victoria. Because Lou got a little bit too explainy nerdy at the end. Lee, still not a fan. And Holt, I actually like Holt. Maybe Holt was my favorite. No, Holt was my favorite character. Because Victoria makes really bad decisions, yeah. But then again, the ending, I kind of like that they made it happen. They're a happy little family. And maybe Lee got over his you know, weird anger issues. Because that was from his father. Maybe he was accepting that he had to reflect on this, that he had to let emotions through, that he had to be honest, you know, with Victoria as well, not just think how annoyed he is, but you know, actually communicate with her. And they had this little lovely family. But yeah, I think Holt was my favorite character, then Victoria, then Lou, then Lee. Trent, #1 character. But yeah, he died too soon. But who was your favorite character? Yeah. That's me on a date, you know, just talking about myself, asking you a question and then answering it. Yeah, and if you notice references or something, or you have your own theories, you know, tell me in the comments. I'm happy to have a conversation about this game, which I enjoyed so much. Also, if you're new to this channel, you're welcome to subscribe. And I promise you, if you decide to raise a satanic goat baby, and I am 3 mysterious men in black, I will leave you the fuck alone. Because that goat boy was precious, and I will protect him with my life. So, subscribe. Anyways, I hope you had a good time. I hope you have a wonderful day. And maybe see you soon. Bye. This is my self-recorded outro song so I don't get hit with copyright claims. If you subscribe to a lot of fun tutorials, reviews, and let's plays.